Welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to take you on location in Buckroe Beach to a pitch that the city's Redevelopment and Housing Authority, City Council and Economic Development Authority made to talk to developers about the tremendous potential for new housing in an area of Buckroe Beach. Just listen.
One of the roles that the Housing Authority fulfills, other than doing the housing programs, is that a big part of what we do is redevelopment. And we took on this task and working with the city, working with economic development a number of years ago. And I could say on the respective boards that are represented here that this Buckroe project was the #1 project on our list. So that's why we're doing whatever we can to sell it, to promote it, and to really get your interest. And the developers I've spoken with, they're really interested. They've taken the opportunity to take a look at the area. You could see the mix of area, the uniqueness of this particular area. And the speakers that are going to be coming up, we have 4 speakers. They're all going to sort of talk about Hampton as a whole, and also talk about the particular unique opportunity that you have here in the Buckroe area. So the first speaker I'm going to have up, and I'm going to have 4, and they all have their unique perspectives on what's good about Hampton, and also what's good and unique about Buckroe. The first person I'd like to introduce with opening remarks is our Mayor Tuck. And I, just from my experience in working with Mayor Tuck, I know he was first elected to council in 2010.
I want to share with you what I believe is a significant development opportunity that we believe will help Hampton become an even more special place. We are the birthplace of the space program, with respect to the orbital space. And we kind of have this attitude that the world revolves around us. But actually, if you were to draw a map or draw a circle around Hampton Roads, you would find that actually Hampton is the center of Hampton Roads. So we count that as making us special also. But on a more serious side, we are a 400-year-old city. And if you drive around our city, you'll find that we're probably about 98% built out. So back in 2005 through about 2007, one of the things we realized as a community is that we had to redevelop ourselves. The only way that we could really grow and become more modern was to redevelop ourselves. And so with the input of our citizens, we came up with about 5 or 6 master plans. And what you see now around our city is the implementation of those different master plans. And where you are here now is almost like ground zero of the Buckroe master plan. If you go to the Coliseum Central area, there's a master plan there, and you'll see the momentum of those master plans really beginning to take effect, that there's a lot of private investment there. In Phoebus, there's a master plan for that. And it was significantly impacted by the closure of Fort Monroe, but now Phoebus is coming back, and you're getting a lot of private investment there. And so it's becoming kind of that eclectic type of community that we envision it would be when we developed the master plan. We've got a lot of unique and diverse neighborhoods in Hampton. We've got miles of waterfront, and we've got a community that's kind of enculturated toward having water, living along the water. As we said, we've got a unique history, a very historic city. We are the birthplace of actually free public education. We're the longest, oldest continuous English-speaking city in the country. And I think we say that because there's the St. Augustine's, Florida community that likes to be called the oldest. So we got a way of distinguishing ourselves. This coming year, or this current year, we're going to celebrate the centennial anniversary of NASA Langley. Last year was centennial of the Langley Air Force Base. And so we're right here where a lot of significant things are happening. In 2019, we're also going to have another celebration. So all around our city, we see just momentum that's taking off from the different kinds of plans we have for our community. And so Ron talked about this whole sense of there being kind of a shared vision. Well, what you see happening in our city now is a part of that shared vision. It was impacted somewhat by the Great Recession. It kind of brought some things to a crawl, but now that the economy is starting to turn around, again, you're starting to see these dreams and these master plans become, they're going into implementation, and it's really beginning to happen. We have some 250,000 visitors a year who come down to Buckroe Beach. It's in close proximity to Fort Monroe, where a lot of things are happening there, and we're glad that Glenn Oder's here with us. It's also kind of connected to Phoebus, and so you've got this symmetry there between Buckroe, Fort Monroe, and Phoebus, and actually within maybe a stone's throw, you've got our downtown. So there's a lot that's happening. And again, it's just a great time, I believe, to be getting in on what we're trying to do in our city. So we're thankful that you're coming. We believe that you'll be impressed by the things that takes place here today, by the things that you will witness. We've already got a number of people who are building. They believe there's value in building in Buckroe, and we hope and believe that you will see the same value. So thank you.
You know, I was born in Phoebus. So I remember Phoebus when it was totally different, when it was a bustling little community. Then it ran into some problems, but now Phoebus is coming back. And that's where I was born. I went to Hampton High School, played a little football there, and currently I'm a group vice president with Pomoco Group. That's automobile dealerships and real estate developments. And over the years, we've worked closely in the city of Hampton, both not only from the retail side, but we've developed such developments over the years as Michael's Woods, Belgrade, Grist Mill, Marlbank Cove up in York County, Whispering Winds is another small one somewhere, and the last one we finished up last year from our perspective was Cypress Creek development in Smithfield, which has the golf course and all of that. So we've been blessed to work in the city of Hampton for a number of years. And what I'm here to talk about today is what I consider to be a really unique and rare opportunity that has come available in the city of Hampton. But anyhow, please look at this closely. A lot of information is available about this land. There have been studies done by the city of Hampton that can be made available to you that will show you prior infrastructure, current infrastructure, and how the off-site utilities are already present. You don't have to go a half a mile or a mile to hook up to anything. And the final thing I really want to emphasize, when you take the tour today, look at it. You have a blank canvas. Take your palette, look at what you can do with it, and develop it in your own mind today, and develop it on paper. Because the city, one thing I will stress to you is both the Hampton Redevelopment and Housing Authority and the city of Hampton will be good partners in this. We are looking for creative ideas. We are looking for outstanding opportunities to provide to you, and therefore you will provide opportunities to the city of Hampton. I cannot stress enough to you how important this is for our community. And like I said, you got a fishing pier, you have beach, you have open space that will not be changed because it's under conservation easement. So you always have that. And with that, I want to say thank you for coming today, and look at this closely and enjoy the tour, because as I always say, it's looking at a piece of paper and a plan is one thing. Walking the land, looking at the land is another, and gives you a totally different perspective. So enjoy today. Thank you.
Like Mr. Adams, I am a Hamptonian through and through. I wasn't born here, but I was here as of the time of 4 years old, and so all I remember is Hampton. I did, after high school, go to a couple other cities for college and graduate school and first jobs, including Baltimore and Phoenix, and really grand communities. And I can tell you, I came back to Hampton because I truly believe in my heart of hearts there is no more special place than Hampton, Virginia. And it doesn't just touch to our history that the mayor spoke about, or the progressive redevelopment that Mr. Adams talked about. It's the people of our community too, and the way we come together to solve challenges and unite as a community. There is no more friendly community in America, or no more engaged community in America than Hampton. And these things are attributes that, in particular, millennials, baby boomers, and others are looking for in today's environment. They really want to have community, and we offer community in abundance. So Today, of course, we're unveiling the opportunity to complete a request for qualifications that will ultimately lead to the selection of one or more developers to work with us in developing this fabulous land. We've had some of the pieces of this land for some time, but we really wanted to make sure we gathered enough of a critical mass that we could really make a huge difference. But this isn't completely a new opportunity in the sense that just behind us, we had the fantastic Buckroe Parade of Homes. John Bowman has been building on the success of that with other homes. Many of you hopefully know, but if you don't, he was even featured on HGTV not that long ago with the beautiful homes. So we've attracted the attention not only of locals and regionals, but the nation with some of the redevelopment work that we've been doing. And we certainly believe now we can continue that with even more beautiful waterfront opportunities. As we get closer to the water, the opportunities and the values increase, obviously. And so that's why we're so excited today. We've been asked to touch just briefly on what we're looking for. And, you always run the risk that you stifle creativity when you say that. And I want to echo what Mr. Adams said. We really do see this as a palette and an opportunity. We don't want to overly stifle you in your creativity or what you believe the market will bring to bear. But that said, I want to share a few fundamental goals that we have so that gives you some sense of direction. And we believe in the goals that we've identified are articulated in the Buckroe Master Plan, but we want you to understand these are guides, not necessarily fixed in stone. But we believe that great places are built upon their inherited strengths. They evolve organically and incrementally over many years and are rarely built by a single interest. Our most revered places have changed incrementally with generations. And the implementation of the master plan is intended to be done in partnership, not just with the city. Now, the city understands and has taken a lead role in doing some of the initial work that needs to be done, such as infrastructure improvements. In fact, you probably saw as you come in some work that's going on right now. We're improving the gateways to Buckroe, both on Pembroke Avenue and on Buckroe Avenue, with a lot of new infrastructure work. So we have committed to spend public resources to enable a high quality development, but we also believe in forming partnerships. And as we look to the opportunities here and the goals that we hope to achieve, we certainly see the opportunity not only for one master developer, but the potential of multiple developers coming together and working with one another to take advantage of this special place. Our goals are to reinforce Buckroe as a family-oriented beachfront community, and that means we want to diversify our housing choices with both single-family homes and multifamily homes that are of the higher value that waterfront properties such as this beautiful parcel can command. We want to expand and enhance the recreational opportunities and access to the beach. And of course, Mr. Adams talked about the conservation easement that we have out here that ensures that every resident of Buckroe has a beach as part of their backyard. Whether it's literally in their backyard or it's a couple blocks down the street, everyone has the opportunity to have the beach in their backyard, and that's something that everyone treasures. We want to create and support small-scale neighborhood and beach-oriented commercial development that might include restaurants, beach goods, neighborhood services, and hospitality uses, to include even the notion of a small beachfront inn. We certainly know that there's great tourism potential here, particularly in the Memorial to Labor Day season. People want to come down and experience the beach cottage style of enjoying. And that includes not only tourists from abroad, but even Hampton residents who want to take the summer off and come down and spend a week or two at the beach. We also, more importantly than anything, want to maintain the authenticity of Buckroe. Because, as we said earlier, our heritage is very important to us. But when I describe the authenticity of Buckroe, what I really mean is a coastal character. Hampton has this unique coastal character that has been seen throughout our history. As I mentioned, we've done a lot of things to prepare the property, not only the assembly of the land. Mr. Adams mentioned the infrastructure study that will be made available to each of you, so you'll know what you have. This is an expense that we've saved you all from having to go out and do, and gives you accurate information to work with. We've also been readying the beachfront for coastal resiliency. Over the last several years, we've done 4 new stone beach breakwaters. We've been doing sand replenishment. We have an ongoing beach renourishment program and storm protection plan to continue those investments. We do that with the advice of the Army Corps of Engineers, so we're making sure that we're doing all of the right things to protect our investment in the waterways. In terms of housing, for those of you who aren't as familiar, we had over 35 new homes built with a total assessed value in excess of $9 million in the last several years. The single-family homes have been selling anywhere from the $300,000 to upper $400,000, so there's a huge opportunity here for you. And duplex and condo units have ranged in the low to mid 200s. We also have a curb appeal grant program for residents who live in some of the older housing around this beautiful parcel. And that curb appeal program is designed to give residents incentive funds to upgrade the exterior aesthetics of their property. Because we understand it's not possible for the city or a developer to buy all of what's around us, and yet we want to raise the housing values for everybody. So through that curb appeal grant program, in just the last couple of years, we've been able to leverage over $1 million in existing homeowner reinvestment in their properties. And we have a continued commitment to continue that curb appeal program. We also have ongoing upgrades to park amenities. This year we added food trucks. We used to have one. This year we're going to have rotating food truck opportunities. We have added gazebos and comfort stations. And you may have seen in the news recently that we're adding a water recreational park to the waterfront. It's called Weebit, but it's a floating water park where people can come out and do slides and trampoline on the water and the whole 9 yards. We've studied that extensively, and lots of coastal communities have been able to do this and really generated excitement. And the reason why I talk about these things is, again, the notion that particularly a lot of people who are looking for smaller homes are looking for their living room and backyard to be in public spaces. So we're taking great emphasis in creating fantastic public spaces so that when people are looking at buying a home, they're looking at those public spaces that they're going to be able to enjoy as part of their backyard or living room. As you can see, we're truly looking for a mix of uses that will enhance both the living and visitor experience in Buckroe. Again, I want to emphasize we have a creative opportunity for you to tell us what you think is possible, but we hope to see responses that include residential types and beach serving commercial services, and hopefully some sort of beachfront inn or bed and breakfast hotel opportunity. We're not necessarily looking for one master developer, although that's certainly possible. As I've said, it could be a team of developers or different developers doing different elements. We are open to your collective creativity. Now the next steps, the specifics that you will want to know, and we have RFQ packages to hand to you today before you leave. We are doing bidder registration so that we know who is interested and we can work to get you all more tailored information. The bidder registration will be due by June 16th. And then we will do an announcement of pre-qualified respondents in late July, the issuance of an RFP to the pre-qualified respondents by the end of July, and then a submission deadline around the end of September. Our hope is to have the selection committee do interviews of as many of those respondents as we feel meet the needs of the RFP, and to make the selection no later than October of 2017. So we have an aggressive schedule, but one that we think is important to continue the momentum that we've been describing. As the Chief Executive Officer for the city, I want to assure you this effort is a top strategic priority, not only of the City Council, but of the city staff. And that means that we will work very aggressively with any selected responders to make sure you are fast-tracked and you are able to have a seamless experience with our land development staff. We pledge to put the best and brightest, most customer-oriented staff with you as we make our dreams of redevelopment of Buckroe a reality. And if, as Ron said, if you ever have problems, and I don't expect you to have problems, but you ever have problems with our staff, I'm but a phone call away, as we all want to capitalize on this wonderful opportunity.
But I'm so excited to, first of all, chair the Housing Authority. But let me pause before I give me my comments and recognize the Housing Authority staff who are here. If you are here, would you wave your hand, all Housing Authority staff? Want to thank Ron, our excellent Executive Director, Aru, our Deputy Director, others who work so tirelessly to make sure that we provide the type of housing and community that Hamptonians would love to live in. As a young boy, I looked forward to coming down to Buckroe. I can remember my favorite time in Buckroe, the favorite ride that I used to like to ride, many of you may have come down, was called the Spider. And I can't ride the Spider now. I'm too old. I don't like a lot of motion. I like low impact stuff. But the Spider was my favorite ride. It would just twist you and twirl you and toss you. And you'd have a major double vision leaving that ride. But it was exciting because that's one of the things that we look forward to in coming down to Buckroe. One thing I want to tell you about the stability of this community is simply this. How many remembers that roller coaster we had down here, the Buckroe roller coaster? Well, it was predicted that that roller coaster would one day fall off the tracks. I thought as a young kid, I had never been on a ride so high in all of my life. When I got to the top, first time riding, got to the top of the roller coaster, and it started click, 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 click. You remember that sound of the roller coaster? And then when it hit the ground, I screamed and hollered like I was about to lose my mind. But let me tell you, there was a movie one time that was filmed here, I think it may be called Crab Town or something, and they actually blew up that roller coaster. That roller coaster was so strong, ladies and gentlemen, it took 3 humongous rounds of dynamite to blow that thing down. Stability. Why do I say all of this? We have an opportunity, developers and builders, on this bayfront community to build a crown jewel. A community that people can be proud of, a community that millennials can come down and walk and enjoy themselves. People can live here, play here, and work here. Many of you know that the Buckroe Master Plan has changed often. Sometimes people say we process to process, but I want to tell you what an exciting day to be in Hampton and to envision what this community will look like in the coming years.